The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. Albert Camus. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. Socrates. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The mind is everything. What you think you become. Buddha. There are no facts, only interpretations. Friedrich Nietzsche. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Dr. Seuss. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Charles Darwin. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Albert Camus. Do not wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking. William Butler Yeats. I think, therefore I am. René Descartes. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. Confucius. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. Oscar Wilde. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. Franklin D. Roosevelt. The significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. Albert Einstein. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. Dalai Lama. Man is the measure of all things. Protagoras. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Confucius. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Peter Drucker. The only journey is the one within. Rainer Maria Rilke. The first step toward change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. Nathaniel Branden. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Albert Einstein. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. Plutarch. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson. It is never too late to be what you might have been. George Eliot. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu. We do not see things as they are. We see them as we are. Anas Nin. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. Oscar Wilde. Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. Jimi Hendrix. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. Henry Ford. Believe you can and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Nelson Mandela. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. Albert Einstein. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him discover it in himself. Galileo Galilei. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. George Bernard Shaw. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs. We are all faced with a series of great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. Charles R. Swindle. When one door of happiness closes, another opens, but often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us. Helen Keller. It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. J.K. Rowling. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King Jr. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. John Wooden.